I'm Martin Schulz. I work for Fujitsu Research Institute, which is a consulting and a think tank supported by the Fujitsu Group, which is Japan's global ICT company. What we are doing here is not only focusing on technology trends, we are focusing on economic and social trends. We are analyzing what is happening internationally, how it is shaping Japan, and how Japan can contribute internationally. For us, this is a very important topic, and that makes also today's topic, the G20, and how Japan might be shaping the agenda of the G20, a very important topic for us. So I'm quite happy to be here and have a discussion with you about many of the related issues. This summit of global leaders comes at such an important time, not only for Japan, but internationally. We have a trade confrontation between China and the US going on. We have international imbalances that are a big concern. So a meeting that is hopefully coming at a time when some of the issues are being solved, to look into the future governance, future multilateral relations will be very, very important for the entire world. The G20 came into life after the global financial crisis in 2008, focusing on financial stability, financial regulation. After the financial crisis had basically been solved, issues with growth, global imbalances came on the agenda, and every country now, when hosting such a summit, is shaping the agenda around these general topics of growth and financial stability with additional issues that are important during the year and to the country as well. Japan is shaping the agenda a little bit, I think, towards digitalization and productivity, because that is really on the mind of everybody. How can we push growth a little bit more? And it is also focusing on the challenges of aging, which is now affecting many more countries, going into difficulties with urbanization, financing pension and healthcare systems. So Japan is focusing on these topics, framing them around the UN Social Development Goals as an overall framework. And this is, I think, a very, very interesting agenda. So far, G20 has been focusing on financial issues in particular and financial imbalances. Japan will probably try this year to throw in global trade imbalances as well, because we are seeing a major confrontation between the US and China, which is now affecting Japan and all Asia. This is a very important topic, and it probably can only be solved together. Japan's policy over the last years has been to come up with a new way of multilateralism, bringing in more countries, cooperating with Europe, cooperating with ASEAN, to tackle these issues of confrontation. So on the agenda, most likely, will be issues that relate to finance, investment, and trade as well. An agreement here would be very, very important for everybody. Japan has a domestic plan to provide and support growth, in particular by digitalization. Society 5.0 is the idea to increase productivity, to increase growth by merging the worlds of digitalization, which is now way beyond the internet, going into basically all parts of life, including healthcare, including mobility, e-mobility, self-driving cars. This is probably one of the most important growth topics for the coming years. Japan will put this into the agenda, I guess, to have other countries, other partnerships together on digitalization, productivity and growth, so that we can have a more balanced international growth story, which might help to solve some of these, confrontations we are seeing that are related to too little growth internationally and a lot of fears about how the future might be shaped. Uh, Africa and development in Africa has been on top of the agenda of the G20, in particular in the 2017 summit in Germany, because Europe is so much affected by immigration coming out of Africa. So development in Africa is extremely important. Development in Africa is also important, however, for global growth in general. Africa is one of the least developed regions in the world, with the biggest potential as well. There are major confrontations that are affecting now immigration streams, but also how companies are investing into raw materials, which see major price swings over the last years, and have the biggest opportunity in terms of infrastructure development. So also from an Asian perspective and from a perspective of Japan, developing Africa, providing stability to Africa, will be one of the key questions for global growth over the next years. One of the important issues when hosting such a political summit is that together with the G20 process, Japan has changed as well. Japan has always been an important economic, but often rather passive supporter of international developments. There might be conflicts, there might be major disputes. Now Japan is shaping the political agenda globally much more active. Japan has been involved in supporting trade agreements, economic partnership agreements. It is organizing the regional Asian markets at a time where we are seeing a trade confrontation between China and the US. This more active role is being recognized among experts, but not so much in the global public yet. Perhaps not even in Japan. So showcasing the new more active role of Japan as a partner in terms of shaping a multilateral agenda, I think is a very, very opportunity with this summit in June. There are important meetings to be held all over Japan. And this is a very welcome development because with the preparation for the 2020 Olympics, the eyes are gradually on Japan. Interest internationally is very high. Tourism is booming. So showcasing other locations in Japan than Tokyo will be particularly important, and I very much hope that there is a lot of coverage and that the regions are doing as much as they can to get international eyes on what they are doing, because this can be an important opportunity for additional tourism, but also for the view in the regions out into the world. Hosting international guests in such a big framework, a very important opportunity in my view.